Abrams was walking with a friend in a Santa Clara park. They were chatting about the online-offline problem, and the idea was born. Think back to the days before Facebook. I know, right? Who does? The MySpace craze.
Ever since I got on MySpace, I have no time for sleep and no time for homework. But I feel cooler now.
And you might remember Friendster. In this video, we take...
Okay, I think I got us an episode. What the F happened to Friendster, MySpace, and Multiply?
The concept of social networking was still novel. Credited as being one of the first social networks that led to the social networking age we are now in, it was pretty popular in its heyday, with about 115 million registered users at one point in time, that Google even offered to purchase the company.
Before Zuckerberg gave us an app to rule them all, or a blue app to rule them all, we lived in a fractured society. We lived in the age of the Holy Trinity. If you were a Filipino teen in the early 2000s, you had a full-time job managing your personal brand across 3 different continents of the internet. You had Friendster for your public image, you had Multiply for your life stories and photos, sort of like a precursor to Instagram. And you had MySpace for your angst, your creativity, if you're in a band, you're into the arts, and just to showcase your bad coding skills. Today, we're looking at that entire ecosystem. The ecosystem that taught us how to be digital citizens before we even knew what that meant. But why did we need 3? Multiply was sort of like the tita of the bunch back in the day. Why was MySpace the emo kid? And why, despite having all this rich variety, did we all burn it down to Facebook? You have to understand that these 3 websites weren't competitors. They complement each other. You needed all 3 to be a complete human being. Friendster is more of like your barangay hall. For the Gen Z or the younger ones watching this, friend what? Isn't that like ancient Facebook? Listen here, you little TikToker. Friendster wasn't just ancient Facebook, okay? Friendster was the Roman Empire. And we were the gladiators fighting for social validation in the Colosseum of glitter graphics. It was our digital puberty. It was the first time we could curate a version of ourselves that was a lot cooler or a lot better than the one failing algebra in the real world. But here's the weird thing. While the rest of the world used Friendster, the Philippines lived on Friendster. We were obsessed. We treated Friendster profiles like national monuments of sorts. Why did the Philippines become the global epicenter of Friendster usage, you say? At its peak, around 80% of Friendster traffic was coming from Southeast Asia, and the Philippines was leading the charge. I have a theory. It boils down to a couple of things that are deeply embedded in Filipino DNA: extreme personalization and the crushing need for social validation. But the real reason the Philippines dominated Friendster, the testimonial section. It literally became a catchphrase back in the day. Uy, pa-testy naman. Uy, mare, testy. This wasn't just a simple comment section. This was social currency. These were the original receipts of who you were, or what you aspire to be. Depends on how good you bribe people. We thrive on connection, pakikisama, as we always say. Friendster sort of gamified that. The number of testimonials you had was a direct reflection of your standing in your high school cafeteria hierarchy, if you will. And the begging, the sheer humiliation of patesti naman. Writing a testimonial was an art form in itself. It was a delicate balance of genuine friendship and passive aggressive shade. It usually started with, I don't know what to say, even though you drafted it in a notepad like 3 hours ago. Then it went to mabait siya, minsan, the ultimate Pinoy backhanded compliment. And it always ended with an inside joke that absolutely made no sense to anyone else, just to prove you were close. And if someone deleted your testimonial, that wasn't a glitch. To millennials, that was a declaration of war. Friendships ended over deleted testimonials. Then there was MySpace. If Friendster was the mall, MySpace was the underground, sort of like Cubao X for the cool kids. MySpace wasn't about friends, it was about aesthetic. The musicians, the artists, the people who straightened their hair and wore thick eyeliner. Trust me, I once had hair, but I'm never doing that eyeliner. Anyways, this was the only place you could force people to sort of listen to the red jumpsuit apparatus or dashboard confessional the second they opened your page. And the top 8, man, that caused a lot of fights. Friendster just listed your friends. MySpace made you rank them. If I put Mark in my top 1, would Joe be mad if he's top 2? It's a socio-political suicide waiting to happen. But then there's the MVP, the one that arguably hurts the most to lose, Multiply. If Friendster was more for acquaintances, Multiply was for the real ones. Filipinos are obsessed with photos. We take photos of everything. Food, sunsets, funerals, walking your dogs, cat videos, chefy videos. Did I say food? I said food already. Anyways, Friendster only lets you upload a few pixelated JPEGs. Multiply allows you to upload the whole album. The whole 300 shots from your Boracay trip. Walang quality control. Just go for it. Upload that thing. Send it. Multiply was also the birth of the social media stalker. You didn't just look at their profiles. You went through their albums. You saw their baby pictures. You saw their unglamorous shots, their candid shots. Candid, is that what you call them? I don't know. And consequently, Multiply was the grandfather of Shopee and Lazada. Before we had apps, we had Multiply shops. So it sort of pivoted into an e-commerce marketplace, a giant one at that. The Multiply Tita or Tito was a distinct demographic. They blogged about kids, posted 500 photos of a freaking birthday party, and sold handmade Buddha bead bracelets on the side. I think I bought a couple of them. It was a wholesome and chaotic community, if that makes sense. So imagine the daily workflow of a Filipino back in 07 or 06 or 05. You take photos at a party with your Digicam, it's usually a Canon. You go home and upload all 100 photos to Multiply in bulk because it has the best storage. You scan everything, you choose one best photo, tweak it to high contrast, and use it as your Friendster profile pic. And then you write a blog on MySpace about how dark and mysterious that party made you feel. And then lo and behold, around 2007, 2008, Facebook. At first, we hated it. I was just all about the games, to be honest, to pass the time. Most of us had those GSM phones, so not all of us had apps on our phones yet. So usually Facebook was your go-to to pass the time. You had Farmville, you had Neopets or something like that, or Petville, something like that. But Facebook eventually did something smart, which most of us thought it was kind of plain. There's no background music, no customization settings. Everyone and everything is just in blue and white. But it stole the best feature from every member of that trinity. It took the friend list directory from Friendster. It took the unlimited photo albums and tagging from Multiply. And it took the status update or the mood status or the mood update. I don't know what you call it, from MySpace. But the saddest death of them all was Multiply. Now I can't prove I once had hair, because all my photos with hair were on Multiply. You had no concept of backing up your data back in the day. Friendster died more of incompetence, slow servers, security, that kind of thing. MySpace died of irrelevance, but Multiply died of confusion. They tried to become an e-commerce site, or like a communal marketplace. They removed the social features, they deleted the photos, millions of family photos purged. Well, they gave notice, but because they wanted to be Lazada before Lazada existed, or Shopee, you know. So what did we learn from that? We learned that customization matters, but convenience is king. We loved our glitter graphics on Friendster, even MySpace, and mostly songs in MySpace. But we traded all that individuality for the convenience of a clean, fast blue feed where we didn't have to code HTML just to say hi. We also learned that nothing on the internet is permanent. The photos you hosted on Multiply, gone. Your testimonials on Friendster, gone. The emotional blog posts on MySpace, gone. So here's my advice to you. Back up your data. Don't trust the cloud, because one day TikTok will be the cringe old app and Instagram will be a graveyard, and we'll all be explaining to our grandkids why we spend so much time dancing in front of the phone. Damn, I miss the chaos, I miss the glitter, I miss the terrible graphics, but most of all, I miss the patesti requests from my friends.